I'm back! Yeah, it's been a crazy couple of months, and I had a minor health issue that was just a pain in the butt to deal with. But I thought today I'd give a real quick update, what the channel plans are, let you know I am still here and I'm working on things. After I released the last video, I was working on a video on the tools I use in DDM, but the problem I was having is working on that video really kept getting in the way of actually working on DDM, and I really wanted to get something out for you. So I have been focusing on DDM a lot lately, and that health issue was really not something that looked good on camera. I'll get to the personal stuff at the very end of the video, so if you're not interested, you can skip it. So speaking of DDM, the progress has been going really well. It's really, in my mind, starting to come together. There's a lot of pieces that have to work together, and the last really big one was figuring out how I was going to deal with combat. Now, the combat has been not coded, but I have an idea of how it's all going to work and interrelate, which is really important. So I've been working on all the other parts of the game that tie into combat so that when I actually code it, I can code it all at once and not have to keep going back and changing it. Also, writing the combat is like a whole nother game. It's like a whole nother game to write. So I want to make sure that it's the best it can possibly be. So the first plan I have is to release 2 to 3 short videos showing the progress on DDM, and I'm going to break them up by the tools that were instrumental in them so I can have the video I've been promising about tools I use. The first one I think is going to be with CBM Program Studio and creating character sets and screens and all these pieces of the game that then get loaded into Visual Studio Code for the actual code writing. The response I got from the last video, the 64 Commodore video on the evolution of the Commodore 64, was amazing, and I really appreciate it. I am currently working on part 2 of that. I had said in that video that the next video would be the Amiga 1000 video, but the problem I ran into that was a dramatic lack of B-roll available on the internet. And I don't just steal people's video, I always use it with permission. And that brings me to another point. I want to mention that I am going to VCF Midwest in Chicago. I've never been to a VCF, so I'm really looking forward to it. I will be there. It's the middle of September, and hopefully I'll meet some of you there. While I'm at VCF, I'm really hoping there will be some people I can talk to and some of the original hardware that's been going around this year that I can get video and some images of, because I really don't want that video to be just 20 minutes of me talking to the camera like this. That video is completely written. I've recorded the audio, which I often do just as a test, where I will record the audio and start placing B-roll to figure out where I need video and where I don't of myself talking. This is the part of making videos that I'm really bad at. I'm really uncomfortable talking to the camera. So my expectation is that the next part of the 64 Commodore series to come out is going to be the part 2 of the evolution of the Commodore 64. However, the Amiga video, like I said, I'm really happy with everything about it, except I need more shots to include with it. So as soon as I can get those together, I'll get that one out, and I think it's going to be fantastic as well. I certainly intend to get it out this year for the anniversary. I do have some other videos I've been playing with. I want to do a part 2 of the Pimpin' the Commodore 128 because, you know, I can. Sometimes it's just fun to add a bunch of stuff to a machine that you love and use all the time. Speaking of machines that you use all the time, another thing that I've been dealing with lately is thanks to Microsoft, who in their ultimate wisdom has decided that my perfectly good computer and my wife's perfectly good computer are no longer going to get security updates and that my hardware is too old for them. So I've had to build a couple of PCs, and so this will be the first PC edited, and I had a hell of a time getting all the software set up again and working on this thing, but it's all working now. I've got all my video library in it. I've got everything going. Fortunately, because I can't afford to build 2 new PCs, Friends of mine chipped in. One gave me a 3060 and another one let me use his 3080 Founders Edition. So, you know, without having to buy video cards, it wasn't too big of a hit. I like the PC, man. It's a little bit of a space heater, though. It puts out a lot more heat than the old one. Blabble, babble, babble. I am so excited to be going to VCF. I have never been to one, and I just can't wait to go where, you know, all the things that I love are out there being shared by people who love them as well. So like I said earlier, I hope to meet some of you there, but also I just can't wait to go see what's there. I am dying. Please have Lorraine there. But that is going to be great. And then finally, in this real quick update, the personal stuff. So if you don't want to hear that, just skip ahead. So if you look at the last video, you'll see that there's some rash and stuff starting to form on my arm. And by the time that video came out, that rash had spread all over here and was getting really bad. So I went to the doctor, and the doctor said, you need to go see a dermatologist. This looks like shingles, but it had spread to both sides of my body, which I guess isn't a shingles thing. So I tried to get an appointment with a dermatologist. It took me a month to actually get a hold of a dermatologist. And you'll be glad to know that even though I went to the doctor April 4th for the very first rash on my arm, and before it eventually spread, it spread all over my arms, my chest, my underneath. It was everywhere but my face. And the drugs they gave me for it was a 4 times a day antihistamine and a steroid cream. Well, that antihistamine just, oh my God, it just... It's the first thing I've ever taken that says you should be careful driving on this, where I was like, no, I can't drive on this. It was awful. So as soon as the rash started to go away, I discontinued that. I still haven't seen a dermatologist. And at this point, the appointment's been pushed back to early September. So who knows? You know, psoriasis, who knows? I don't know. It's ticking me off. Anyway, that was it. Just a quick channel update to let you know where I've been and to let you know I do have more coming. I am currently working on the short DDM update videos. Like I said, there's been a lot that's happened. There are some free updates out on Patreon. You do not need to be subscribed. If you just follow the channel for free, those updates are there. They show up usually about a week after I post them for the members. And then I'm also still working on the second 64 Commodore episode on the evolution of the Commodore 64. And that originally, a lot of what's going to be in that video was going to be in the last video, but it got too long. So I've got a lot of it done. So it should be a matter of a couple, 3 weeks before I get the next part out. So anyway, I hope that's helpful. Thanks for coming. Talking off the cuff. Hey, I made a script. I got a script. See,